farmers, welcome back to FS25, and today we're going to be taking a look at the menus. Yeah, they've changed a little. Just the aesthetics of it all is slightly different, and there's a couple of different things that you need to go into rather than before. So, first off, we're going to go into the old main menu section where you got your PDA. So this is going to be the first thing. Obviously, you got your PDA just there. That's great, no problems. You move around with the right stick, no problem, as you can imagine. And then you've got all the menus on the left-hand side, which is a little bit different to the right, especially where all the crops are concerned. So obviously you've got all those different ones. I mean, again, if you want to press A, you can turn off the icons for corn. So any fields. So if you look there, field 25 and 20, what is it, 25 and 31, they're cornfields. You could turn those off if you didn't want those showing, and so on and so forth. So if you wanted to, if you're looking for specifically like one particular crop that's on the map already, that's in a field that you might want to purchase or something like that, you just go and turn off all the other ones that you don't want, and then you be able to find the one you're after a lot easier. Right, okay, so fair enough. Now, what you need to do as well is you need to go up to the top. So all the way to the top like that, so up to wheat, and then up one more. You then get the options there. So crop types. We then go on to growth. So if you played FS22, you'll understand all this as well. So you've got the crop types, you've got the growth stages, put it that way. So again, you can turn these off as well. So we've got some harvested ones, so the goldy colour. If you didn't want fields that harvested, just turn those off, and you've got everything else. And then obviously, if you want to know what had been harvested or removed from foliage, you just turn those off that you don't want. So you just find the ones that are ready to go, if that's the sort of thing you want it to. I mean, normally you'd go for like the harvest. Well, no, you go for the ready to harvest. So then that would tell you all the fields that are ready to go right now. Now, obviously, again, there's more than just the one menu on here. So we're going to carry on again up to the top. We're going to come across to soil composition. So just in FS22, obviously this is going to give you the lay of the land, what needs to be done in your field. So first one, you got weeds. So obviously as the darker it gets, the bigger they get, basically, until they're withered. And obviously the brown state on the weeds is going to mean that they're dead. You then got the fertilized state. So a light blue, it's going to give one fertilized state, and then the darker blue is the second. And obviously with the fertilizing, you do need to have, to get the most out of your crop anyway, you are going to need to have two fertilized states on it. You then got the turquoise. Yeah, we'll go with turquoise. That's going to tell you whether your field needs some lime added to it. You then got the rolling. Now, to be fair, like in 22, rolling, it adds a little bit. It does add a little bit to it, but not that much. So it's not really something that would really need to be too concerned with. We'll put it that way. Mulched is if you are using a mulch. And again, like the rolling, I didn't really do it in 22. The benefit you're going to get from it isn't that much. So to waste your time doing it, that's entirely up to you. I mean, the stones, that's going to tell you, how many stones, well, not specifically how many stones, but, the amount of stones in a particular field. Obviously, if it's yellow, there's a few. If it's red, there's loads. Now, the stones, that's basically how quickly your equipment is going to need repairing. And then we come down to a new one, which is watered. Now that's going to be linked directly to the rice fields. So we'll take a look at that in a separate video, but that's where you find out whether a field needs watering or not. We then come to your hotspots. So this is a little bit different as well. So you've got your vehicles. Okay, so turn those on and off. So if we look down there on the start farm, it's taking our tractors off. Obviously combines, that's going to take your harvester off. Your trailers is exactly the same. Any tools that you've got, and then any workers. So if you've got a worker in the field, you'll see that little, I'm going to say target. We'll go with that. That's going to turn that on and off. You then got this bit. I quite like this. This little new addition. So you got your tip station. So it's sort of like color codes what the different areas are. So you've got like on the start farm here. So we've got a tip station there, which is going to be a silo. You then got a loading station, which is buy points, basically. You've then got productions, which are like these ones down here. You then got animal pens, which is like that one there. contracts, that's if you've got contracts on the field, and any others. So like your sleep trigger, the grandpa water's just there. I like that. Color coding the different buildings rather than just, they are what they are, rather than the icon itself. It makes it a little more easier to see, I must admit. I like that. Right, on to the next one. We've got farmland. So we have got, basically, if you're ignoring the colors of the fields, we've got unowned, currently selected, or farm, or my farm. So you got my farm down there is the start farm that you get on Riverbend Springs. And then everything else currently selected. So you're going to select an actual field itself. You actually got to click on the number rather than just the field. So click on that like that. There you are. So you've got the option. So that's giving you a slightly different green color. So that's going to be what's currently selected. And obviously anything else that's not got a, I'm going to say a green tinge to it, is unowned. Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. We then go to the next one, which is create a job. Now, it says create a job, select a vehicle to create a job. Okay, so if we go in and we select that. There we are. So we've got the enter vehicle, reset, sell, set destination even, and then create a job. So this is going to be for your AI worker. So you can set your go-to. Now you can send it over to that field if you wanted to. That's all right. I like that. I mean, it's slightly little different to what we've had before. I mean, you've got set destination as well. Yeah, all right, fair enough. And the next one is going to be active workers. So if you've got any workers on the go, whether they're taking your vehicle somewhere or whether they're working in your field, obviously that's going to show in that menu. Right, okay, so that's fair enough. So that's the standard PDA menu group. We'll call it that anyway. We'll then move on to the next one. So if you press RB, if you're on Xbox like me, that'll come down to your crop calendar. Now, if you've got this with seasons on, this is what it's going to look like. Obviously, it'll vary depending on the map and what's been set up. So you get the idea of, when you can plant and when you can harvest. So the planting is going to be the green lines, and then the harvest is going to be the red lines. So if we take wheat, for instance, you can plant in September and October, and you've got to wait all the way along to July and August. That's like nearly a year. All right, fair enough. And obviously, depending on what you're planting, depends on when it needs to go in and when you can take it out. I say take out, harvest, whatever you want to call it. Apart from those at the bottom, so spinach, grass, and oilseed radish, they can be harvested all year long. Interesting, and poplars. All right, okay. And then at the bottom, you've got your weather forecast. So it's going to be going up in 2-hour slots in the middle bit. And then you've got on the right-hand side, it's going to be like the monthly sort of prediction. So you could really, for instance, right, if we go for 6 o'clock today, it's going to be raining. Yeah, and you can't harvest in the rain, so that's a bit of an issue. That's all right. That's all right indeed. We'll then move on to the next section. And that's going to be for your animals. Now, currently on the start farm on Riverbend Springs, you get these cows. So you've got the option there, obviously, to cycle through what you've got. It's going to tell you the health, the reproduction, what food they've got in there, which is very nice indeed. I mean, it's also going to tell you how many cows you've got. 3. Yeah, not bad. Okay. We'll then move on to the next one where you've got contracts. So we've got 2 menus on this one. So we've got new contracts first. So these are ones that are currently available. Then go back up to the top and we got active. That's a different menu. All right, fair enough. Because before it would just put it up to the top of the page, but now you got to go into the second one. All right, no worries, no worries. And we'll move on to the next one. We've then got available. Well, we've got production chains. So first up, we have got. Although for some reason it's clicked on available. First up, we've got owned. So that would list any production chains that you own already. And we then go on to the next one, which is available. So these are going to be any ones on the map. And these are all on Riverbend Springs. Oh, fair enough. But what's good about this is if you're thinking, oh, I don't know, maybe I want to do some cakes, right? So you can come across to the available productions on the map and say, all right, what do I need to do for cakes? So we go and then move across one and it'll give you the recipe. Yeah, so rather than thinking, oh, do you know what? I want to do cakes, but I've only got a greenhouse. Well, you'd be like, no, don't do cakes. You're gonna need flour, sugar, milk, eggs, butter, and strawberries. So maybe you don't do sort of cakes, but it'll give you an idea of what you need to put into that facility to get the stuff out. It's like this one here, the canning factory. So for peas, obviously you're gonna need peas. You're gonna need all that. So for kimchi, you're gonna need napa cabbage, garlic, spring onions, and chili peppers. So you get an idea of what you need to get, or what you need to have being produced before you can buy the production chain. Well, you don't need it before you buy a production chain, but you know what I mean. The stuff that you need to have to make that facility work, which I think is ace. So rather than going and spending however many thousands of pounds, euros, or dollars on a production chain, and then going, I haven't got that stuff. Yeah, you can get that stuff first, which is all right. I like that. I like that indeed. Now on to the next one. This is going to be your prices. So this is slightly different again. So before you had the price menu of what it is and where you can sell it, and then on the second page you had the monthly when it's the best price. Now you've got that all in one, which is ace. So you've got all the crops down the left hand side. I say all the crops, you've got everything that you can sell. I mean, you even got these new stuff like cement bags and cement bricks. So you go find whichever thing you want to sell. You then got in the middle section there, so you've got the actual selling stations that you can take stuff to. I mean, buffalo mozzarella, that's selling for 21 grand. Oh, buffaloes. Yes, that seems right. And at the bottom, you've then got your price chart. So the best price is going to be in October for buffalo mozzarella. October, sell that 24.5 grand. And then the worst month to selling at the price would be in June, 20 grand. Yes, you get like an overall feel for it. That's all right. I mean, you have got the section there on the right hand side in the middle where it's got sell, so that's where you're going to sell it, and you have got the option there of buying it, so at the warehouse. But that's great, having it all in one. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, if you go up to the top, that's obviously your croppage production selling shenanigans. Then move across and you've got all your vehicles that you own. So if you own or leased a vehicle, it will tell you exactly how old it is, how many working hours, how much repair is going to be needed. So obviously if it's been freshly repaired, that's going to be at 100%. Obviously it's going to work its way down until it's at 0. Then also how much you're going to sell it for as well. You then move on to the next one, which is going to be the same for hand tools, if you've got any. You then move over to finance, and this is going to be the same as before. Obviously, you've got all the different things, new vehicles, sold stuff, sold animals, all that sort of thing. Just basically a giant spreadsheet of your money coming in and money going out. You have got the option of borrowing in 5,000 implements. So you got the if you're on Xbox like me, and you can borrow 5 grand and then repay by pressing Y in 5 grand increments. We'll then go back up the top and we'll go to your statistics. So this will tell you all what you've done so far. Now, obviously, this is a fresh start. I mean, I've only been on here, well, let's face it, 18 minutes, it says. And we've done 0 work. We've done 0 anything. We've done nothing so far. We haven't even collected any collectibles. So obviously, that's just going to give you an overall outlook of what you've done. We then come down to the settings. Now, you've got your save game icon just there. We come across to the game settings, which is more important. Obviously, if you want to save a game, come over there, hit A if you're on Xbox like me, and it will save the game for you. Now, the game settings themselves are split into 2 different versions. So you've got game settings and general settings. Now, you can get to both of them through either, to be fair, because they're next to each other there. And then when you go into it, you have the option to go between the 2 anyway. But all right, fair enough. So first off, game settings. You can pause the game. You can change the game save name. You got your interval on autosave. Now, I always have that off because, you go into the menu and it saves for you. Maybe you didn't want to save at that point. I just turn it off because it takes control back to me. I mean, that's just something I do. It's entirely up to you. You do whatever you like. You can have that 5, 10, and 15 minutes. So every time you go into the menu after that point, it's going to save for you. You then got your time scale. So 0.5. So that means every minute is actually 2 minutes in real life, so half speed. Then you've got normal speed, and then obviously 2 times faster, 3 times faster, and it's going to go all the way up to 360 times speed. So obviously, if you wanted to, rush through a few productions and I put the teeth in, you can do that with that. Then you've got your economical difficulty. So even though you set it up when you first started the save, you can still change it there. Easy, normal, hard. Now, traffic, obviously, is going to be self-explanatory, on or off. Seasonal growth. Now, we've got 3 options on here. We've got yes, no, and pause. Now, if you've got yes on, obviously, it's going to grow with the seasons. You plant, whenever you're supposed to plant, and then you harvest whenever you're supposed to harvest. Now, if you was to go for no, that means you can plant anything whenever you want. You're still going to have to wait for it to grow. So, say like we planted wheat, like we've seen up there, it's going to take, 10 months to grow, something like that. Even if you planted it in January, it's still going to take 10 months to grow, but you can still plant it in any month you like. So you haven't got to wait for the seasonal thing to move around so you actually get into the right frame. Right, fair enough. Now, there is one thing. Paused. If you do pause, nothing will grow. It will just stay as it is, whatever growth stage it's at. It won't progress. So just bear that in mind. But also another little trick for the seasonal growth being off. If you have no there, it won't wither. It'll go through, you could plant your wheat and you can wait 10 months and then you could leave it as long as you want. Yeah, because it's not going to wither. That's fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Now you've got your days per month. So obviously, depending on what's going on, how you want to do it, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see where this goes up to. I'd imagine it's going to be like 31 though, isn't it? I mean, you would have thought so, since that's like 28. Oh, I suppose 28, because that's what a normal February has, barring any leap years. So that's going to give you how many days per month. So if you were to play 28 days, you would be playing basically like real life. I play 1 day month because how the game progresses, it just sort of fits right with that. And normally I play at 5 times speed as well. It just, how you get jobs done and the speed that you normally get jobs done in the game sort of fits well with that balance. Yeah, that's what I go for. Obviously, you do what you like. Entirely up to you. Fixed visual month, you can either have it off, so it will change as the seasons progress if you've got the seasons on. You can have it as any of the months throughout the year. So if you fancied permanently farming in December, that's entirely up to you. Or you think, I just want to do farming in the sun, have it like July or August. Entirely up to you. But obviously, if you've got it off, it's going to carry on throughout the year, whichever month you're in. Snow, you can either have it on or off. So if you don't fancy having a load of snow like I did on, was it Ravenport? Yeah, just turn it off. Entirely up to you. Crop destruction, no, I don't play with crop destruction on because, it's just that one time that you forget about the crops being there and you just like ruin a whole year's worth. I'll just leave it off. It's so much easier. Then you've got periodic ploughing. So the ploughing will need to be done every 3 harvests. So you can plough your field. You won't need to plough that field for 3 harvests. And then you need to do it again. Now that does have a yield, balance into it. So if you don't do it with it turned on, you are going to lose a bit of yield. If you don't want to do that, then just turn it off. You then got the option for field stone, and that doesn't change the yield of your crop coming out the ground, but it will change how quickly your vehicles, your implements really, are going to get damaged and need maintenance. So you go for whichever one you want on that one. Lime required, exactly the same as the ploughing, so that's going to need to be done every 3 harvests. Again, that does have a yield balancing to it, so if you don't put it in, you're going to get less yield out of it. If you do, you're going to get higher yield. You then got weeds. Again, they do tend to have a little bit of an impact on your croppage. So on or off, entirely up to you. I mean, if you're going for full ball realism, you'd have it all on, to be fair. No problem. Disaster destruction. Now, this is a new one because obviously we've now got tornadoes, twisters, whatever you want to call it. Now, you can have it enabled. So if a tornado is going to go through the map, it's going to damage your crops. You can have it as visual only, so you'll see it coming. I mean, you'll see it, and you'll probably hear it as well, but it won't do any damage. Or you can just have it disabled at all. So you don't want to play with the tornadoes. You don't want that threat coming to your farm. Just turn it off. No problem. We then got the usual things for vehicle control. So you got your dirt, how quickly it builds up on your vehicle. So you got off, slow, normal, and fast. Obviously, apparently in FS22, the dirtier your tractor, the quicker it needed maintenance. I'm not sure, but alright, it is there as a visual thing as well, and it does say it's just that's how dirty it comes. Alright, automatic engine start. Now I normally have this off, so as soon as you get into the vehicle, if you've got this turned on, it will start the vehicle up. I just have it turned off. I like to start the vehicle myself. It's just something that I like to do. Stop and go braking. No, I have this turned on because it will, as soon as you stop going forward or even going in reverse, it will then start going the other direction. It just makes it so much easier rather than having to let off the brake pedal and then put it down again to go in reverse. It just does it automatically. And then go to trailer fuel limit. So you can have it on or off. So that's going to give you a warning if you're getting to the weight limit of the trailer. We then got the fuel usage. So obviously how quickly your vehicle goes through its diesel. So you can have it as low, normal, or high. We then got your AI workers. So this is where they're going to be refilling as they're going along. So if they're using your tractor, are they going to refill the vehicle? So not so much refill the vehicle, maybe just not use what's already in there is probably a better way of doing it. So they're going to replenish what they use on the fuel, seeds, fertilizer, and then slurry, manure. And then that's the options on that side. So if you don't want them to basically charge you for refilling the stuff, just turn it off. They're going to use what you've put in the back. And then if it's empty, they'll stop. Right, no problem. And then we'll come up and we'll go to the general settings. So we've got on this, we've got the help window. So if we come back out of there, the top left hand corner where it says there, so you've got advanced controls, you've got switch hand tools, that sort of thing. That's your help menu. That's your help window. So if we go back into there like that, so you can have that on or off. It depends on how cluttered you like your screen. I mean, normally if I'm doing a let's play, I'll turn it off, just to keep it more aesthetic. That's entirely up to you. Colorblind mode, that's going to, well, it says there, switches colors of crops and field states on the map view to make it easier to recognize hues for red and green color blindness. I'm not colorblind, but that's a great addition. I mean, there's some people that are red, green colorblind, and that's going to help them out a lot. That's great. I do like that. Interactive zone markers, so they'll show you the hatch marking areas around different things, so like your pallet spawn points. You then got your info trigger, so that's going to be, like when you're going up to Grandpa Water, that sort of thing. You then got your field info, so if you're going to a field, then it's going to tell you the bottom. So if we go around here, let's go around to the field. It's going to tell you what's going on in that field. We'll tickle it all. Come on, follow me. Follow me to the field. It's going to tell you what's going on with that field, who owns it. There you are. So this is field info, farmland number 4, owned by me, 0 fertilizer, and it needs some lime. So if you don't fancy having that in the bottom right hand corner, you can obviously turn that off. Then we come down to the money, so you can have it as euros, dollars, or pounds. To be fair, it doesn't make a difference. It's entirely up to you. It is what it is. If it's 1,000 litres and you're going to get 10 grand, you're going to get £10,000. You're going to get 10 grand in dollars. You're going to get 10 grand in euros. Doesn't make a difference. We then got the measuring unit, so whether it's kilometers or miles. Now I'm in the UK, so I'm going to put that to miles. Temperature unit, that's going to be Celsius or Fahrenheit. So again, in the UK, we use Celsius. Area, acres or hectares. Again, entirely up to you, whatever you're using, whatever you feel comfortable with. You then got your radios. You can have it on or off. Now, I personally leave it off because of YouTube copyright issues. And we've got the radio range. So you can have it as always on. So even if you're out in the field like now, you'd hear the radio. Or you can have it as just in the vehicle. So when you get into the cab. You then got your camera. So reset vehicle camera. So it remembers the camera position of each vehicle once you exit it. So if you was to, for instance, leave a tractor like that. And then, move the camera around like that. As soon as you got back into the tractor, it would put it back to that one. And then we'll come down and we'll go on to the next one, which is going to be dynamic vehicle camera. So this will try and stay horizontal with the environment. So as you're going up and down hills, it's going to try and keep the same sort of thing. Now, in there, why look, That's going to be the same sort of thing as your Y inverter on the main menu. I leave it as it is. I don't bother messing with that. So easy arm controls. That just makes it a lot easier for doing like forklift trucks and, you know, telehandlers, that sort of thing. Camera sensitivity. So it's like how quick it moves around. So if we go down to, well, I say down, we go down to 50%. It moves that fast. If we then go and do, we'll put it up to the max. Yeah, let's give it a max setting, right? So we'll go to 300%. That moves a lot quicker. I mean, it depends on what you're used to. I mean, you don't have to, you know, that's right stick all the way over. You could just ease it in, no problem. So you go for whichever one you want. And then we've got, we'll go back up to, flick up to the right menu. There we are. So we got your dynamic vehicle camera on. No, we've done that one. Then we've got your vehicle arm sensitivity. So same sort of thing as with the camera. It just moves it a lot quicker. We then got steering sensitivity. Again, it will just steer a lot quicker. So if you crank it over to left or right, the faster you've got that is the faster it's going to turn. Direction change. So that's going to be automatic or manual. So defines if the vehicle direction change is automatically toggled or manually by pressing a button. So that means if you going along and you press brake to stop, and then you need to press brake again to go into reverse. I leave it on automatic. It's so much easier. Gear shift, obviously that's going to be your gearbox. That's going to be auto or manual. You then got your speedo display value. So you can have engine speed, vehicle speed. You then got your switch to trains, yes or no. So if you've got trains that you've rented, you can just tab straight to it. So left or right on the D-pad. Wood harvester automatic cutting. Now it says the tree will automatically cut after the tree has been delimbed. That's interesting because it's like once it's been on 22, they delimbed as you cut it along. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Then you got your volume master, which is 100% of all whatever you've picked further down. Vehicle volume, obviously that's going to be how loud your tractors are. Environment volume, that's going to be how loud the birds and the cows and the wind and whatever's going on. Then you've got your character volume, so that's going to be your NPCs that you're talking to. And then your radio volume, obviously it's going to be a percentage thing if you've got that on. And then your GUI volume is obviously the noises it makes when you select things in the menu. Fair enough, fair enough. You then move on to this one, and we've got the help menu. Now, obviously, if you are new to the game and you haven't been playing on any previous versions, you may need a little bit of help. So you got this one. So it just tells you exactly what to do. So you got, want to be a farmer? What do I need to be? You got how to start. You got shop and workshop, start and equipment. You got contracts. It just gives you a guide on stuff that you can do. So, you know, you got crops there. That's all the different crops you can do. And you've got your greenery section. It just gives you all the different, it's like all the different animals there and all the food that they make and produce and whatever. So if you're stuck, you know, what can you use for yield boost? You've got fertilizer, herbicide, that sort of thing. It just gives you a little bit of a helping hand. Gives you all the different icons there for you, whatever's in the game. And then you've got a bit of farming basics. You know, it gives you a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a guide. Yeah. All right. I mean, it's slightly different, don't get me wrong. But obviously, new game, new menus. I think some additions in there are really good. I mean, I do like some of them. And to be fair, I do like this third person mode as well. That's it. Alright, so that's the menus for you. You go and click whichever ones you want, but obviously, I've got my favourites. Obviously, I have crop destruction off. I have auto braking, well, you know, stop, start, turn off, that sort of thing. If you played the game before, you know exactly what to switch on and off. But if you're new to the game, just have a little bit of a play. You know, just start off, you get your bearings and find out what you like. Ah, fair enough.